Well, welcome everybody to the Courageous Truth Podcast. As always, I am honored that you have chosen to spend a little bit of time with me today. This is a special episode, we'll just say. And this episode is geared specifically to people who don't want to engage in the voting process. And I want to speak a special message to them. So if you're watching and you're one of those people that's like, I don't want to engage in the process. It doesn't affect me. I want you to hear me out. Okay, please just listen. I'm going to make this as brief as I can, but please listen to this. And if you're listening to this and you have friends or family who don't want to engage and they're burnt out on it and they're burnt out on the idea, this is for them. Or email this to them on my behalf because this is something that is very close to me. I used to be one who didn't want to vote, didn't want to get involved in the process, didn't want to engage, and so I understand where you're coming from. So before we get into it, make sure you smash that subscribe button. Working towards 100 subscribers. It would mean the world to me if we could hit that mark in the next couple months. So if you're watching this, subscribe, share this with your family and friends. I do know that I have a specific audience, mostly believers, mostly conservatives, believers in Jesus Christ. But I think this message speaks volumes and hopefully it speaks to you. So this message is for you. Maybe you don't want to vote, you don't want to engage in it, you're burnt out on the idea, whatever the case may be. I'm going to give you 8 reasons why I believe voting is important and why it's important to me. Now, if you're not wanting to vote, most likely you are a person with values. Let's just say it. I don't know you. Obviously, you're on the other side of the screen. Obviously, you're on the other side of my microphone, but most likely you are a person with values. And also, most likely, you've seen the ugliness of politics. You've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, mainly ugly, which makes you want to just stay away from it completely. And I can't say that I blame you. And I also believe that you're an independent person. I believe that you're someone who you want to chart your own course. You want to do your own thing. You don't want the government's involvement. And I get it. I truly do. But please hear me out. I'm going to make this as brief as I can. 8 reasons why I vote, and I would extend that to you as well. And so I say all this stuff with the utmost respect to you as a person. The first reason why I believe anybody should vote. Number one is the system that you're trying to avoid, you are involved in. The system you want to avoid already affects you, whether you partake in it or not. The political system, the policies affect everything we do. They affect where we drive, how we drive. They affect our education system. They affect the culture of our community. The systems that we want to avoid, that we want to take place, they already affect us. They already affect us. So we want to have a voice into those things. Number two, second reason is it's an opportunity to shape your future. To shape your future. Your future rides on elections. Elections have consequences. I've heard it say time and time again. You want to have a good future in the state that you live in, then your local election matters. You want to have a financial future, elections matter. If you want to have a future as a property owner, as a business owner, elections matter and they will affect your future and the freedoms that you have and the opportunities you have and the possessions that you have. Elections will shape your future. And number 3 reason is your wallet's involved. Your wallet is involved, okay? Your tax dollars, you have to pay taxes no matter what, even if you work only cash from your employer. If you buy anything in America, you buy anything anywhere in the world, you have to pay taxes. You go into a store and buy some ice cream. That ice cream does not cost $8. Okay, there's taxes worked in. It probably, costs about 6 or whatever the case may be. You understand what I'm saying? You have to pay taxes, so it affects your wallet. The people you put in to office and what they believe about taxes, the policies that are passed in your community, in your district, in your county affect your wallet and the kind of taxes you have to pay. To me, money matters. I have 8 kids. Money matters. Okay, I work very hard. Money matters. Your wallet is involved whether you like it or not. And the less influence the surrounding governing authorities have on our wallet, the better. And we do that by voting. We do that by letting our voice be heard. Number four reason, it allows your beliefs, and I do believe this. If you don't want to vote, most likely you are a person of values. You are a person of values. You're a person who's independent and doesn't want the government meddling in your affairs. I'm the same way. Allowing our beliefs to reign, allowing your virtues to reign, allowing your beliefs to reign, allowing your virtues to reign, allow them to have influence on the different areas of our communities, our culture, and our life. Allowing what you believe to be the precedent, allowing what you believe to be the priority. That's reason number four. And reason number five, your neighbors need you. You may not care so much, but to others, it may matter a great deal. It may matter if does your neighbor get to retire or not? Do they get to take that trip to see their grandkids? Okay, are their property taxes after they've retired going to skyrocket where they can't afford it? And although they've paid off their mortgage, they're going to lose their property because they can't afford their taxes. So this, I think, is a huge reason why you should vote if you don't want to, because your neighbors need you, and your neighbors need that common sense. And we hear it all throughout culture. Love your neighbor. This is a great way to love your neighbor, by voting on these issues. Maybe an issue doesn't mean so much to you. Go talk to your neighbor. Find out what means something to them. And if it's something you agree with, vote on it. Okay? We're in this together. It's a collective voice. It's a collective voice that determines the direction of our communities and our nation. And I think number six is also good. Protects our communities and our counties and our state and our schools and our businesses from terrible ideas. There are terrible ideas because people ignore elections. Evil people get in. See, people who are progressive and people who are leftists and people who have bad ideas, they love to vote, okay? Because they don't have any values. It's the people with values that don't want to vote. Have you ever noticed that? I think that it is important that we protect our communities from terrible ideas. Terrible usage of money, terrible usage of laws, abuse of laws. That's why we need to vote, to protect our communities and our neighbors and our friends. The seventh reason is we've got to realize that society, you go all the way back to the beginning. Society was built on a set of rules, a set of regulations, a set of determining factors on how we should live. You look at the Ten Commandments, and I've heard this more and more. As a Lutheran, we have high value for the Ten Commandments. Why? Because it's how we should live our life. It's 10 guidelines that help us really to construct a functional society and a successful society. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not lie. Those are great values that we want to see infiltrated in our culture. Now, obviously, as a culture, as the world, as the West, we have steered so far away from that. The only way to get them back is to slowly begin to vote people in with these values and then support them and hold them accountable once they're in office, and realize that we can't have progressive ideas to build a society on, because progressivism has no foundation. It's just whatever they feel and whatever they make up. And you look at the transgender thing, that proves it right there. How can you build a society, a civilization with transgender people? How? You can't. You can't. And that's where they're trying to progress us to. The final reason I believe that you should vote and I should vote is that we live in a republic. I can't think of many other nations around the world or ever in history that had a republic. And a republic means that the people are in charge. And we have a constitution that protects us from having a government that takes control. And we're seeing a government right now shred up the Constitution, break the Bill of Rights, and do whatever they want because people are uneducated in civics. And they don't realize that they aren't allowed to do whatever they want, but they do it because we let them, because we don't understand what's going on. We put our faith in them. Our job is not to put our faith in government. Our job is to hold our government accountable. Bottom line, we're holding them accountable from being tyrannical and doing things that hurt us as the citizenry and destroy us as the citizenry. I think that's the number one reason why we should vote. We can't let these people have power. We can't let these people have influence. We're the ones who should influence, and they should do it on our behalf. So I want you to consider those reasons. I made this as short as possible, about 10 minutes, 12 minutes. We need you. Society needs you. And like I said before, I believe if you don't want to vote, it's because you don't want to get involved in the mess. Well, we need you to get involved in the mess. We need to get you involved in the destructive practices that are taking down our nation, or we're not going to have a nation left. We live in a republic. That was my last reason that I gave. We have to protect that republic. If we stop voting and stop engaging, then we are not going to be a republic anymore. We're going to be an authoritarian state. That's what's going to happen. And they're going to make all the rules and we're going to have no say in it. We have to have say while we have it available to us. And that's just the truth. So God bless you. Thank you for listening to this. Like I said before, like, subscribe, share this with your family and friends. Send this to someone who is on the fence about voting. We don't want to degrade them. We don't want to make them feel bad, but we do want to challenge them. Hey, listen to this. And if you listen to this podcast, if you watch this podcast, you're like, you know what? I need to vote. Go to your local county, go to your local county website, your state website, and register to vote. Make sure that your ballot's going to come to your residence that you live in right now. Make sure it's not, if you've just moved, make sure they don't send it to your old address. Make sure you get it, fill it out, and turn it in early. That way you can monitor it to make sure that it gets tabulated. That's the word I'm looking for. But listen, we need you. We need to, as a collective voice, protect our nation. And this is the best way we can do it. Okay? We got, if fraudulent activity happens in elections so that people in power can stay in power, it's because the citizenry didn't engage. So we must engage in the voting process. So God bless you. Thank you for tuning into this episode. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Apple Podcast, I'm on Spotify. You can find us, the Courageous Truth Podcast, on all of those different platforms. So make sure you follow. I'm trying to drop episodes bi-weekly, so twice a week, 8 times a month. Really trying to reach that unique audience out there that are conservatives, that are believers, that want to be active, but also want to hold to biblical values. That's what this channel is about, and that's who this channel is for. So God bless you. Continue to take a courageous stand for the truth, and I will see you next time.